One thing they did get out of
Are they really that controversial? I feel like every time I ask anyone or anyone talks about Gen 5, I feel like people loved it. All right, this is Pokemon Black and White, game so good they killed the franchise by Cassidyhunt. This seems like an interesting video. I personally have never played Black and White, so this will be really interesting to me because I actually never completed them. I've played a little bit of them, but I've never finished the game. So let's hop right into this and see what we think.
The Pokemon franchise has obviously seen a dip within the last few years, and with the announcement of Pokemon Legends Arceus, it looks like the downward spiral is only going to continue. But how did we get here? What caused Pokemon to fall into such...
I think Legends Arceus was a good game. At least it was something different. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't terrible. I think it was a good game.
A state of genericness and forced nostalgia. Well, let me explain the downfall of Pokemon in a short stage play played entirely by me. Look, we have this cool new game. Wow, this is amazing. Okay, now we've made 3 more. You want something new? No thanks. Okay, guess I'll go fuck myself. In order to figure out where things went wrong, we need to journey back to my personal favorite games, Pokemon Black and White. We also need to know the context of these games before we can decipher what went wrong and how it all happened. So, let's talk about them. But hey, before that, you should subscribe because it's free and I will be your friend in a totally parasocial way. And it'll look a little something like this. I love you, man. Love you, bro. Lead game designer Junichi Masuda stated that Pokemon Black and White was meant to be a reboot for the series. But what he didn't say is that it failed and it ultimately ended up dooming the franchise forever. This is seen most notably in the most controversial feature added to a Pokemon game ever.
I thought people really liked Gen 5. Was it Black and White 2 that were the ones that people really liked? Was it Black and White that people didn't like? Oh.
The Pokemon. The decision to only use new Pokemon helped to freshen up the formula and make the games feel new again. But because of this, they had to convince you that these new Pokemon are all Gucci because they had no older Gucci Pokemon to hide the new, not Gucci and little disgusting ones. Every Pokemon game has bad designs, but older games had older Pokemon. So if you don't like Babarrel's big buck teeth, you can still use Dragonite and his big dumpy. The Pokemon on Black and White are kind of like a roller coaster. Obviously a very subjective roller coaster, but I think we can all admit, whether you like Garbodor or not, that this generation has some quirky designs. Most of the coolest Pokemon in this generation are all available much later in the game, and a lot of its starting Pokemon are among its most hated. Like, let's compare 2 bipedal Pokemon from this generation, one from the late game and one from the early game. On one side you have Haxorus, a scary dragon with an axe for a face and arguably one of the most unique designs in the entire series, versus an angry meerkat. Gen 4 has a lot of ugly and really bad designs, but everyone's so caught up in the Shinx and the Staraptors to give a shit about the Cricketots and the Bidoofs. The starting trio from these games are pretty weird too, and not in a good way. All 3 are ugly, boring, or just completely stupid looking. And it's the 3rd gen in a row they did the 5 fighting starters, which is lazy, and I hate you, Masaru. I'm sorry I said your name wrong again. Oshawott second evolution had the potential to be one of the best starters ever, but of course they went, no, that's a stupid idea, let's make it look terrible. The starters should have been left at an orphanage for all I care, because instead of adoption, I want to replace the D and a P with an R and a B, because these starters all suck. In my opinion.
Emboar is okay. I think Emboar is a decent starter Pokemon. It's obviously not the coolest. It's not Infernape. It's not Blaziken, but it's pretty cool. And I think Serperior is cool. I think they could have done a better job on it, but it's okay. I don't like Samurott at all.
Then after giving you a subpar starter trio, Black and White goes, oh yeah, you didn't like that? Well, we're gonna give you another one. The monkey trio.
Oh gosh. Yeah, the monkeys are pretty bad. Don't get me, those are bad. I don't like the monkeys.
Even worse, with such ugly designs that make me want to cry and it's just so awkward to look at. Infernape is a great monkey design. This is a great monkey design. This is another great, wait, no, get rid of that. Along with designs like the angry meerkat, it makes the starting areas miserable and I just want to speedrun them as quick as possible. But don't worry, it gets worse. You know those 4 Pokemon that are ugly and no one likes? Well, the first 2 gyms seem to love them. So now you have to keep looking at these ugly monkeys, and every gym leader from the first 2 gyms has either a Lillipup or a Herdier. I like dogs as much as the next guy, but these things are way too kickable for my liking. You see,
I think I like Stoutland. I think Stoutland looks pretty cool. I think it was a decent take on a dog Pokemon. I think they did a decent job on that one.
Impressions are important, and my first impression in these games is to grab all these Pokemon and throw them into an incinerator. Also, the second gym is a normal type gym in a library. Shh! In a library with the angry meerkat Pokemon and another one of those stupid dogs. This isn't a great way to convince players that using only new Pokemon was a good idea. But like I said before, Black and White are kind of like a roller coaster, because from here on out, the games become amazing. Every gym is super creative with interesting designs and cool decals. The towns are all super distinct and memorable with cool unique buildings and architecture. They've got a baseball stadium, a roller coaster, and a bridge. Actually, a lot of bridges. In Black and White, the towns are all super cool.
Actually, a lot of bridges.
But the roads connecting them kinda suck. Unfortunately, the Unova region's kinda like a big, dumb, boring circle, which ruins the immersion because it feels like it was designed for a video game. Which it was, but it shouldn't feel like that. It makes the games a lot less confusing because you're not wandering around not knowing where to go or even going the wrong way. But linear progression isn't really a good thing because it makes the world less interesting. You don't have those cool shortcuts or backtracks. Other regions require backtracking through certain areas like a Dark Souls game, which is sweet. I love Dark Souls. But it can sometimes feel weird like the Psyducks in Diamond and Pearl. Cynthia's watering can seems much less effective than my Garchomp's Draco Meteor, but whatever, we'll do it your way. Pokemon stories are usually pretty formulaic and not all that groundbreaking. But Big Guy Pokemon went, yo, let's add philosophy and complex questions about animal rights and morality into a game for 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
Good one, Masuda. Despite this, though, the
I
story...
don't think that's that bad of idea that we have a little bit more complicated and a little bit more adult or like older themes than just like... I just feel like making Pokemon purely for kids isn't great. I mean... I know that I'm pretty sure the primary player base is kids. I don't know this for sure. I haven't looked it up. But I think it's okay to introduce some more complex themes and challenges and questions for kids. Like, kids are smarter than we think. And as long as it's not like something that's controversial, I think it's okay. Like, everyone can get behind animal rights, right?
Seems to be the one part of Pokemon Black and White that people universally seem to like.
So this is looking like a pretty good game from a storytelling perspective so far.
And even after playing it as many times as I have, I still love it. The character arcs and the betrayals and the climax are all so good. And I don't think anything will ever come close to fighting the legendary, your rival, then the big bad, after crushing the Elite Four and having everywhere within 5-foot New York blocks turn into a giant castle that came from the ground. What the fuck? Your friendly rivals are all bearable, real, and it's sometimes pretty good. Bianca starts as a trainer but slowly realizes she'll amount to nothing in life and gives up on her dreams to pursue a boring office job. Is this game trying to tell me something?
Yep.
Then Black and White 2 are actually good sequels
Things
where
got really real, really
change in
fast.
age rather than just being an alternate timeline with some DLC slapped on. Black and White 2 did a lot of really good things, but it focused on what people didn't like rather than improving on what did work and actually just forgetting about what worked. Hugh is one of the least... Hugh is your rival. Sorry, you might have forgotten about him. Hugh is one of the least memorable rivals with definitely the least memorable motives. I have never seen his sister or her cat in my entire life, so sorry if I don't care about getting it back, because I really don't. Slapping Enin gets us in at the very end is such a waste of good characters. It also makes these new characters feel so much less important. The climax has nothing to do with them and just shoves the old characters in because they know you're gonna like them more because of, you know, nostalgia. I am foreshadowing future events. The region of Unova is fixed significantly with adding more shortcuts and backtracks to make the region way more interesting. Despite all this, Gen 5 failed. It sold less than the previous gen like every other game, despite putting the most work and creativity in, making 156 new Pokemon, which is even more than the original games. They gave every town unique buildings and cool designs, made the best story in the entire series, then made sequels that expanded on the world and were completely different to the originals, fixing the issues people have with the games and weren't just DLC remakes like Emerald and fucking Platinum, and lastly providing two of the best post games in the entire series. And yet, people still didn't like it. Black and White and Black and White 2 tried something very different in the Pokemon franchise, called innovation. But how far did that get them? The most controversial game in the entire series. But there's one thing they did get out of this.
Are they really that controversial? I feel like every time I ask anyone or anyone talks about Gen 5, I feel like people loved it. I really need to play these games just to see what I think for myself. It's really sad that I haven't ever finished them. Because I don't know, I think Gen 5, everybody I talk to seems to love Gen 5, so I don't know if they're that controversial.
One thing that they continued to add to Pokemon games for generations, despite the long-term negative effects on the series. The one feature you might have forgotten about in Black and White that wasn't forced down your throat, but was definitely there. Triple battles. For some
Oh,
reason or another,
gosh.
Game Freak decided that
Yeah,
from
we don't care about
everything
triple
in this
battles.
masterpiece to take from, it was that adding gimmicks to core battle mechanics is a great idea. You know what? Why not do it for every game and then toss it in the bin for the next? Introducing
Why not make a Pokemon game that's all double battles? That would be fun as crap. We play the official format. The official format for VGC is double battles. I would love to have a Pokemon game that was all double battles. I think that'd be so fun and so cool.
game exclusive gimmick called battle mechanics, or Glimblum for short, is stupid dumb and lessens the impact with every new installment. Mega Evolutions were a great change and felt special, and they added new designs to older Pokemon. But then of course in the next game they were completely removed. And what were they replaced with?
Of course, in the next game, they were completely removed. Yeah, I think the general consensus is that we're all pretty mad about Mega getting removed. I think that's the general
Z-moves, a really
consensus.
strong move for each type.
Z-moves
So
suck.
creative. Then regional variants, and then Gigantamax. Sir, we're out of ideas for Sword and Shield. What should we do? Yeah, we know the music's great. Can we talk about something else? Yeah? No. Headphones off, please. We're in a meeting. The idea of game-exclusive gimmick called battle mechanics, or Glimblum for short, already became lazy and stale within 2 mainline games. And the next problem is, what comes after Gigantamax? Alright, new idea. Every third turn you have to pay taxes, or else your Baneri gets thrown into a blender. At this point, whatever they add next is going to be so tainted by the holy knowledge of its fated removal that it's going to be hard to care about. The worst
Yeah.
part is that these new features don't even cater towards innovation, but instead nostalgia with a new coat of paint. Out of the 48 Mega Evolutions added to Pokemon X and Y, a grand total of 47 were of older Pokemon. And Diancie being the only Gen 6 Pokemon.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Wow, I didn't know those exact numbers. 47 of them were old Pokemon. Ooh. That's pretty cringe. That's why I was hoping that, like, when the next gen came out, we would get new Megas to go with our new Pokemon, or even some more older ones, and then the next gen would have new Megas. That's what I was hoping for, but nope. We tossed it into the trash, and we did Z moves, which are stupid. Nobody cares about Z moves. They're boring and dumb, and I think they're really stupid and pointless. And Gigantamax, while it makes the Pokemon look kind of cool, I don't think it's super healthy for the game, and it's really just making gigantic versions of the Pokemon. It's like you could have just done Megas, in my opinion.
You know,
But I think they thought Megas were too OP because they stayed Mega the whole battle. So they wanted to make like a Mega that only lasts for 3 turns. That's what I kind of think that they were going for with Gigantamax. Trying to fix like the flaw or the problem with Megas.
generation Mega Evolutions are from to get a Mega Evolution. Gigantamax is a lot better, with 19 of the 32 Gigantamax forms being from new Pokemon, which is great. I can't complain about that. And that's what we want, but aside from Garbodor, every other Gigantamax form is from Gen 1. 12 out of the 19 Galar forms are of Gen 1 Pokemon. Which, but by the way, Galar's a really dumb name. I used to have a Galar's a kind of bird I used to have. Well, I mean, actually it was a cockatoo, and anyway, it had a foot fungus, and it died. The Gen 1 starters and Gengar both have a Mega and a Gigantamax form, and Meowth and Slowbro both getting regional forms and a Gigantamax or a Mega Evolution, while there are 887 more Pokemon that could use a new Galar form. No, not the foot fungus dead bird, just any form. But why is Game Freak doing this? Why? Because in Gen 5, the fans told them that focusing on new Pokemon and new ideas isn't what the fans want.
Which
as long
sucks.
as you keep pandering to nostalgia and half-assing games, the fans will keep buying. Pokemon's core business philosophy.
That's unfortunate, but if that's what sells, that's what they're going to keep doing. So if you want to keep buying it and keep praising it, then that's fine. And I honestly didn't mind Sword and Shield. I thought they were okay. I didn't think they were the greatest games in the series. Didn't think they were the worst games in the series. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I'm just going to pretend Sun and Moon don't exist. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were good games. They weren't the best. They weren't the worst. So, I mean, it's okay. It's just, we're not innovating like he said, like we were in Gen 5. We're not innovating. We're not pushing the envelope like we used to, I think.
Revolves around nostalgia. This is why Pokemon is so formulaic and never changes. Black and White wasn't completely different, but tried to change even slightly. And fans didn't like it, so when met with resistance, I think they just said, well, we put in all this
I
work.
think they didn't like it back then, but I think if Pokemon looks at the reception that Gen 5 has gotten recently, I think they would realize that people actually really do like Gen 5. They just didn't realize that that's what they wanted back then. Now they've gotten more of the nostalgia trips, and they're like, oh no, we want to go back to what we did in Gen 5.
Work and no one cared, and it didn't make us any more money, so let's never do that again. This is why features like the raid battles or wild area never get enough work put into them, because it just isn't worth it. Fans are buying it for the new Charizard, not the cool wild area. Now you might be saying, well, I bought it for the wild area, and look, you're one of the good ones. Look at you, I'm so proud of you, my little gamer boy. The absolute epitome of this is with Pokemon Legends Arceus. I was really excited when I first saw this. Look at something new, it's the Breath of the Wild. Wow, Breath of the Wild, sweet, this is gonna be sweet. But now the initial hype has worn off, and I think this game is gonna be garbage. A trailer is meant to show off the best and most exciting parts from a game. But what's the most exciting part from this trailer? The ghost town, the completely empty fields with literally nothing in them, literally nothing. The 2014 graphics, the same 20-year-old battle system, the poor optimization, and lag. Again, this is in the announcement trailer. Think about what Breath of the Wild did for Zelda games. They completely changed everything about the games.
Breath of the Wild was so
interesting
good.
New mechanics and ideas.
If you don't love Breath of the Wild, we can't be friends. I love that game so much. It's still in my top 5 for sure.
Arceus could have done this. It's not connected to the mainline games in any way except for the region and release date. And again, there's the remakes that are coming out that don't change anything. So this game has the breathing room to, you know, do a little bit of twinking. Not twinking, that's not what I meant to say. This game has the breathing room to experiment a little bit. Again, what am I? Legends Arceus could have been the game to change up the same stale 20-year-old turn-based battle combat. I'm sick of it. If you're gonna go all
I like turn-based combat, okay? I might be the minority, but I am a turn-based fan. I love turn-based strategy games, so please don't change that part of it. You tried to do that with Pokemon Go, and it was terrible. So please, please don't do that. If that's your idea of doing a real-time battle system, don't do that.
Breath of the Wild on us with a spin-off. Actually commit to it and make something new, not just spit out some low-effort garbage. Look at the trailer. Do these buildings look like you can go inside them? They don't to me. Also, isn't it a little bit worrying that there's not a single human NPC in this entire trailer? The only thing of note in this trailer is these weird pincer things that look like an island somewhere, but apart from that, there's nothing. Again, let's remember that the game's probably in really early development, but this is the announcement trailer. So if they're showing us this, don't expect this. From everything Pokemon has shown us in the last 8 years, I genuinely do not believe this game will be good. And none of this will be patched or fixed because they've never done it before, so why start now? Pokemon is in a doomed state. Despite being one of the biggest franchises of all time, the design choices aren't making for a sustainable series. And I'm a businessman, don't worry. I know the only reason these games have been made is because they make some people a lot of money. And I don't blame them, but it's 2021, and this ain't 2021 material. The Last of Us 2 came out last year looking like this, and they expect us to buy this in 2022? Basically, Pokemon died a long time ago when Game Freak made the most creative and unique Pokemon games ever, and it failed. And made the most creative and unique mainline Pokemon sequels ever made, and it also failed. Dooming Pokemon to a cycle of nostalgia and using the same formula over and over and over and over. At least we got the Diamond and Pearl remakes though, right? Right? No,
yeah,
Pokemon's dead. It's dead. They fucking killed it. They fucking killed it. And I've only covered a few, and there are plenty of other issues with Pokemon games that I just don't have the time to cover because I already took an extra week to make this dumpster fire of a video. So here's a list of problems in Pokemon games that can be traced back to Black and White with zero context. Wow, there's a lot of like letters and words and stuff. Anyway, what are you doing later tonight? You wanna maybe like get a coffee or something, or no? Oh, you think I'm really ugly?
All right, well, that was a pretty good video. That was interesting. It just makes me want to play Black and White and Black and White 2 even more. I think those games look really good. I'm just sad that I missed that era of Pokemon. And the reason that I missed it is because my DS actually died. I had one of the ones with like the screen crack problem and the top screen went out. And so I literally like played a little bit of it and then that was it. And I planning on playing it eventually. I'm working my way through the generations Nuzlocking, so eventually I'll get to it and then I'll give my thoughts on it probably then. Hopefully, Pokemon takes a look at the reception that Black and White and Black and White 2 have gotten recently and starts maybe going back to that more innovative thing, and they start taking in some of like the negative feedback that they're getting on the newer games and maybe we'll change some of this stuff for the future. But like he said, I kind of doubt it. Don't think it's going to happen. But if you like my reaction to this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Check out the rest of my Pokemon reactions, and then subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.